Hello there and welcome back. Now, of course, there's lots and lots of talk of vaccines these days, but when these vaccines were being created, they, of course, needed to be tested initially. And volunteers who took part in the Novavax Covid vaccination trial have been unable to prove their vaccination status on the NHS app, and therefore basically unable to prove that they have in fact received a coronavirus vaccine. I mean, this is not what you would want, is it? If you're asked to be part of a trial and you're given assurances that, you know, you'll basically get the benefits of doing so, then you would really expect that that would be the case. And today, actually the 1st of July, this is the date that they were given, that their NHS apps would be updated to show their vaccination reference as exempt, which means that they would have been able to get into commercial events or whatever, basically, without requiring proof of their vaccination. Alas, they haven't received this yet. So joining me to talk this through, we've got two people, Amy Carden and Ali Warner, who both volunteered to take part in these trials. Amy has set up a Twitter page dedicated to frustrated volunteers who can't prove their vaccine status. Ladies, welcome. Amy, let's start with you. Tell me your story.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me on. So I volunteered in the Novavax trial. I originally saw an advert on Facebook October last year, and the trial started in November last year. So it was a fully blind trial. So you were given 2 doses of either a vaccine or a placebo, and you weren't told which because it's a blind trial. And they said, say you're not disadvantaged when you're offered a jab through the rollout, we'll tell you what you've had. And if you've had the placebo, you just go and get your jab through the rollout. And if you've had the trial vaccine, you stay in the trial. But obviously then lots of people were dropping out. So because the vaccines were approved quite quickly. So then they did what's called a crossover study to give the people that had a placebo 2 doses of the vaccine and give the other half a placebo, so that it was still a blind trial. So then that means we've all had 2 doses of a vaccine and we don't need to get a vaccine, an approved vaccine for the rollout. But we're now stuck that our NHS app isn't updating with our vaccination status. There's nothing to show that we're vaccinated. And a lot of events, and certainly for international travel, will only accept proof through the app.
And Ali, let me ask you here. I have to be blunt. Everyone's different. You know, that's what makes the world go round. But there is not enough money in this world that would make me volunteer to see a Facebook advert, to inject myself with something as a try. It's just not, it would never happen. That's my personal view. I just wouldn't dare. So tell me, Ali, what made you, where did you see the advert and what made you think, I know what I'm going to do today, take part in this trial?
Well, I joined the Zoe app right at the beginning of March. So I've been inputting every day my symptoms and recording my health. And I think it was actually through that I saw an advert saying that they were looking for volunteers to go on various trials. So I just decided I needed to do something. We were all in a really sticky situation last year, and I just felt I needed to do my part. I needed to do something. I'm not medically trained. I couldn't do anything in terms of contributing that way, but what I could do is put myself forward and be a volunteer for a vaccine, which was at the 3rd stage of trials, and it had been proven to be safe and effective. They just needed a larger pool of people in which to test it.
And Amy, you know, you mentioned you saw a Facebook ad and you got involved straight away. Was you not anxious at any point of taking part in this trial?
I mean, obviously, I was curious and wanted to know more information. And so when we were invited to the initial meeting, that's when they gave us plenty of information before we signed up to a trial, before we had any doses. And they explained it was a phase 3 trial. So it's already completed phase 1 and 2. And those results were really good, and they were happy it was safe at that moment. So I was happy to go ahead.
And Ali, what happens next with you guys then? So you've got your vaccinations, you know, you are technically vaccinated, but on paper, so to speak, you're not. So what's going to happen next?
We don't actually know. I think we're waiting to find out whether there will be some joined up thinking through government departments, and someone will go, oh yes, hang on, there are these 15,000 people who have volunteered who are unable to access their data. We've been given a rather attractive certificate, but it's not particularly easy to carry that around, and I'm not sure it would be accepted at many events or to check in for a flight. But that's not the reason that the majority of us did this trial. We did it to just try and make a difference. What happens next? I'm hoping that somebody in government will recognise that a lot of people who are on the trial have been put at a disadvantage, are unable to access events, or should they wish to do so, travel. I hope that the NHS app will have either the exemption status on it, or that Novavax will be recognised and given approval in the UK, hopefully across Europe as well, and in the US. It's extremely effective, and I think it just needs that next process to happen for it then to be recognised, for us all to have the same benefits as everyone else has received AstraZeneca or Pfizer vaccines.
And Amy, you've set up a Twitter page now to kind of bring people together. How many people are we talking about here?
Well, there's on the trial overall, there's 15,000 people across the country, and I know not everybody uses social media, but I could see more and more people on Twitter and Facebook were starting to say they're having issues that, you know, holidays and honeymoons they've got booked abroad that they won't be able to go on now, because certainly European countries, a lot of them are insisting that they'll only accept visitors that have had an approved vaccine. So that's when I thought, right, we need to start bringing people together and just try and get this issue.
Well, Amy Carden and Ali Waller, you are both braver ladies than me, but well done for stepping forward, and I wish you all the best, and I hope that you get your situation resolved as soon as possible. We did reach out to the Department of Health for a comment on this, and they said everyone who has taken part in a clinical trial can call 119 to get a letter to confirm their vaccination certificate. Alongside this, the NHS is urgently working on a technical upgrade to the NHS app to allow residents in England who have taken part in a clinical trial to demonstrate their COVID-19 vaccine status. Honestly, dear me, don't you think that if you're going to ask people to potentially, encounter some risk, that you would have really got your house in order before you do that, and that you don't need to kind of play catch up like this. What a shame. And I do hope that they get it sorted out. And as I said, they are way braver than me, because all the tea in China would not convince me to do that. So luckily for our society and for the advancement of medicine, I guess, it's good that there are people that are different to me. Right, so let's move on. A festival garden has opened today in Coventry. What on earth is one of them? This is part of an event that is taking place tomorrow.